Young college football fans may not be aware that the third Saturday in October is a holy grail of sorts in SEC country, with Alabama taking on Tennessee, one of the South's oldest and most traditional rivalries. People may not know and be aware that if you go across the statistics, team statistics, program statistics of championships and wins and All-Americans and all-conference performers, that Tennessee ranks second to Alabama in all those categories. The Tide has dominated this series in recent years, looking for 11 or straight wins against Tennessee. It seems like it's a lock, stock, and barrel as a 34-ish type favorite. So the Tide in Tuscaloosa taking on Tennessee, and Butch Jones going to bother to show up, I guess.
No, they're not going to. I mean, they had their chance 3 weeks ago against Georgia. We saw Tennessee in a similar spot several weeks ago when Jones was on the hot seat. They had a home game against Georgia. Peyton Manning was back in town. It was the let's rally the troops and try and save Butch's job and put up a competitive effort against Georgia. They lost 41-0. I mean, this team has quit on their team. Butch Jones keeps going out into the media and making ridiculous comments. This week he said, well, I thought that we did everything. We played really well. We did all we needed to do except score touchdowns. Well, you got to score touchdowns to win the game, Butch Jones. And they lost. They scored 9 points against South Carolina. It's a complete mess. And I want to find some reason to back Tennessee and for some reason show support for Butch Jones. I can't do it. I think Alabama comes out in a rivalry game. Sometimes Alabama will have tendencies in these games to kind of just cruise control, win 31-3, something like that, which a line like this, which is around 36 or 37 right now, means Tennessee would cover. I think in a rivalry game, Alabama comes out and leaves no doubt, wins this game 51-3 was my pick in this game. I think it's going to look like that. I mean, Alabama, the point I'll make about them, I think this is, if it's not the best team Nick Saban's ever had, I think it could be the most dominant. And I don't know if there's much of a difference there, but their running game and the amount of weapons they have in the backfield, I haven't seen anything like it since the 2001 Miami team. Since Clinton Portis and Najee Davenport and Frank Gore and Willis McGahee were all on the same team at the same time, I think this Alabama team has similar talent in that backfield. And I'm including Jalen Hurts in that. I think Bo Scarborough, Najee Harris, and then Damian Harris, who's starting to emerge as a little bit of a Heisman candidate right now, that is as loaded of a rushing attack as we've seen in college football in 15 years. And they're dominating on both sides of the football right now. The schedule's been pretty easy outside of that Florida State game. But look, Clemson struggled in some games they shouldn't struggle in. Auburn struggled in a game they shouldn't struggle in. Teams are losing games they shouldn't. Meanwhile, Alabama's just blowing teams out by 40. I think it continues this week. 51-3. They cover that 36 or 37-point line with ease.
To your point about the rivalry situation, Tennessee was so much better last year than they currently are. They had Josh Dobbs at quarterback. They had two running backs who are now playing in the NFL, or at least on rosters, on and on through the defense with Derek Barnett. And Alabama walked into Tennessee in Knoxville, and that game was like 35-0 before you could blink. I forget what the final score was. It's inconsequential. It just shows the difference between the two programs and the two teams. And that was a good Tennessee team that won a bowl game and finished in the top 15 or 20 in the country. This is Alabama taking on a Tennessee team that's a shell of what it's been the last couple of years. And like you say, no motivation or little motivation to play for much of anything.